Like a lot of you, when I first started eBay dropshipping, I was very skeptical and I thought that there's no way this actually works. This has to be a scam. The only person that's profiting here is whomever is making videos online. You know, that same thought that I think goes across a lot of your minds out there when you're considering starting any type of like online venture. Like it doesn't necessarily have to be eBay dropshipping. It could be Shopify. It could be anything that you come across nowadays on the internet. So I want to tell you my story. I started dropshipping about 6 or 7 years ago, and by no means do I consider myself an expert. I'm still learning every single day. I'm just a regular guy who found this when it was kind of booming, you know, back in like 2017. Things were a lot easier when it came to dropshipping on marketplaces like eBay. You can basically throw anything up and it would sell. You can, you know, price products ridiculous amounts and people would buy them. There wasn't that much competition because not many people knew about it. There wasn't as much content on YouTube like there was, you know, 6 or 7 years ago. So that's when I got started, and I had no idea what I was doing to begin with because again, there were no resources back then, and made a ton of mistakes. I lost a ton of money and wasted a ton of time, which are, you know, 3 of like the cardinal sins that you can you know, do when you're starting something out. Like you don't want to do any of those things, but they were also great learning lessons that, you know, helped me to overcome many obstacles and get me to where I am today. And I do have some notes here because I don't want to ramble, you know, inside of this video. I want to provide some value to you guys from my own personal perspective. If you're thinking about eBay dropshipping, you have questions about eBay dropshipping, then this is the video for you because I think it will help shed some light into some of the doubts that maybe you've been having and is keeping you from getting started. So I want to break this down into 3 sections. So how did I start? What were some of my first wins and some of that motivation that kept me going? That really almost like, you know, pushed me off the deep end and said, hey, you know what? I'm not gonna do this anymore. So let me start out first with, you know, how did I start? So basically I just started, you know, finding products. There were some product research videos out back then. So I kind of follow everything step by step on how to, you know, find these products and list them. And back then I was primarily using like Walmart.com. Was very popular. So was Amazon as well. And one of the good things about starting early is that, you know, you didn't have that many, you know, ban issues that you see nowadays. So you could take a lot more risks and, you know, dropship products like from some of these suppliers. Now, my first win came when I finally got my first sale. However, you might be surprised that, you know, oh, you probably got your first, like, you know, 20, 30, 40 sales within a week or so. And that couldn't be further from the truth. Like, it took me weeks, if not maybe about a month, before I even saw like my first sale. And the money that I got from that sale wasn't very much. So suffice to say that I was very disappointed with all the work that I put in and really didn't have much to show for it. But instead of quitting and saying that this is a scam, it doesn't work, it actually led me down a different path, which is the one of realization that, hey, wait a minute. All I did was open up a store on eBay, which is totally free. I listed a product that I don't even own. I just created a listing of a product that I don't have, and someone actually bought it. You know, that was kind of like the aha moment that I came across, you know, back then, that there's something to this. Like if you put enough time, enough effort, spend the hours learning, you can actually scale this and go from like 1 sale to 10, 100, and basically at that point, you know, the sky, you know, is the limit when it comes to the potential of eBay dropshipping. So, you know, just let that sink in for a minute because I think that's very powerful. You know, a lot of people, you know, who don't succeed, not just in dropshipping, but in other things in general, It's all have to do with what's up here. Like, what's your mindset? Like, are you coming from a mindset of, I'm gonna get things done, I'm gonna persevere, I'm gonna push through? Or are you coming from a mindset of, I'm not enough, I don't know, I don't have all the tools? Like, don't limit yourself, okay? And I'm kind of rambling on a little bit, so I'm trying to make sure I stay on script. So let me just bounce back to my notes to see, if I'm covering all the points. And by the way, guys, it is very hot today. I'm trying to stay in the shade, but nonetheless, here we go. So, challenges. Yeah, there were many of them. I run into issues with products going out of inventory. I had to, cancel some orders because there were issues with the supplier. There were some refunds that happened because the customer wasn't happy with the product because it didn't look the same as it did on the listing, which are all things that we deal with, as a drop shipper, okay? But none of those things actually discouraged me from continuing on. So, what does this mean for you and I after me sharing all of this information with you, okay? The one thing you have to realize is that eBay dropshipping is not like instant money. Like, you're not gonna be printing money if you decide to do eBay dropshipping, okay? It's gonna take some time, it's gonna take some work, and you are gonna make some money in the beginning, but it won't be anything life-changing, okay? And you're just gonna have to be okay with that, because I know you watch videos and a lot of people, talk about, oh, I made, 10,000 in 1 month, I made 20,000 in 1 month. And yes, there are people out there who are, making that kind of money, but those are the outliers. That's not everybody, okay? And there's no way that I can guarantee that you're gonna make X amount by eBay dropshipping. Just the same way that nobody can guarantee that if you go to a 4-year college and you get a degree, that you're going to be making, $200K when you come out of college. Like, unless you're gonna be graduating as an, engineer or some very, high-tech degree. Like most people who go to college, you're gonna come out of college and you're gonna be making, probably, 50 to 60K, right? So, and even with that, like, there's no guarantees of how much you're gonna earn, but over time, over the lifespan of your career, you will start to earn a lot more money. So just like, keep that in mind, as you're, listening to this. So now that I've laid the foundation of eBay dropshipping, expectations, myths, things that you've heard that may or may not be true, if you want to get started right now in 2025, there really is no better time, like the present. So my advice to you, if you want to get started, is start small, right? But start. Open up your store, start finding some products, start doing some research. If you have no idea where to start, then I invite you to watch some of my videos. It's totally free. If you're liking this one, then be sure to like, share it. Subscribe to the channel if it's the first time you're tuning in. I will greatly appreciate it. And I would also say to go check out danielsellsonline.com. That's my own personal website. I have some great resources there, completely free for you to download, check out. And if you have any questions, of course, leave me a comment down below, and I'll be more than happy to walk through that with you. And on top of that, if you want to talk to me or connect with me on a more personal level, then you can always set up a free call with me for 30 minutes, and we can talk about, what are some of your challenges, and come up with a game plan on, what I can do to kind of help you get across, some of those obstacles, okay? So I'll leave you with this. If you're interested, then get started right now. I'm not special. I just was somebody who was determined, and that's all you really need right now is determination, grit, and the want to be successful with eBay dropshipping. So it was great spending time with you guys. I really appreciate you dedicating, 8 or 9 minutes to listening to my conversation. I hope I made an impact, and don't forget to tune in next time for a brand new video.